this new module, we are supposed to study about valuation. Now, what is valuation? Valuation is the technique of estimating or determining fair price of the property. Okay, we have a building or a factory or some other structure that we have. The price of that property in today's terms. Okay, it was constructed back in 2010. Okay, but what is its value today? Okay, so that is valuation. Now, why valuation will be required? If I am willing to buy the property or the taxes on the government is taking the property into its fold, then how much compensation the government will have to pay to the owner. For this kind of calculation, the property as a whole, the shape, what are the services that is available to that region, connection, proper okay. Now, income and net income, we will know obviously. Gross income means total income, okay, including all the receipts. And net income will mean we are deducting the outgoings. It's just the net profit, okay? Gross income and net income. Say it's very easy things. Then we will get the net income. Now, what are the type of outgoings? Taxes, management or collection charges, society, you know, okay, rent collector, then watchman, lift, pump attendant. Now, what is sinking fund? We have to keep a certain amount of money every year from the net income, not from the income, sorry, from the gross income. Okay, from the gross income, we are keeping certain amount of money, and the, after the period of the building will be equal to the cost of construction, the cost at which the property was bought, right? So that is sinking fund. Now this is basically to recover the original cost of construction. Okay, so in every year we will keep some money. That money plus the interest that money will generate, that will be equal to the original cost of the building or the property or the structure, whatever we have. Then loss of rent. Sometimes the property, if we are giving it out for rent, it may not be fully occupied. Now there is a loss. Okay, so that is a rent. Then there can be a etc etc, so that can be there. So our outgoings, so from growth, that is pretty easy. And then we have to do valuation for all these purposes. And what is valuation? We are finding out the price, the value of the property at present day, at present situation. That is valuation. Now we have few important definitions. These are important. Now, what is market value? It is the value that I will get if I sell my property in the market. Okay, so if you have a property and it is at a very, in say for example 2010, you bought it cheaply, and then after that what happened, the area developed very quickly. Now it is becoming an urban economical center or business center. So what will happen? The property, the value of the property will increase tremendously, right? So that is the market value. It is not dependent on the it is not only dependent on the structure, the how much old it is. It's not on that only. Okay, so the market value will depend how much value the property can give you at the market if you sell it at the moment. So it will depend on the conditions, the location of the place, how much development is occurring near that place, and uh, accessibility, and facilities are there in near the property. So all those things will affect the market value. Okay, so that is market value. So it is influenced by these market conditions. Then book value, there is a book value. Now the book value is whatever was the original cost. Every year there will be some depreciation. We subtract the depreciation and we got the book value. Okay, any property, if it is a building, year after year, what will happen? It will depreciate, it will deteriorate slowly, the colors will come up, the structures will become weak, there may be cracks here and there. So that is going to depreciate the value. Whenever someone will come to buy the property, will look at the property, okay, how much old it is, what are the defects in the building right now, right? If we are going to buy a car, second-hand car, what would how much years this car was purchased, how much years back this car was purchased, how much kilometers these cars have traveled. All those things we will look, right? And based on that, the value of the property will be decided. So the book value is like this. Whatever is the value at the original time, and we have to subtract the loss, the depreciation over the years, and we will get the book value. Then we have another important term, what is capital cost. Capital cost is the total cost of construction, including land, original, everything that was required to acquire the property or to construct the property, that is capital cost. Then we have annuity. Now, what is annuity? In every year, what we are doing, we are giving some amount, the repayment of the capital amount. Okay, so what is the capital amount? Just before point number C tells us about capital amount, it is the original cost, whatever was the cost. If we construct, if we bought it, the total cost is our capital cost. That much we have invested to acquire property. Now annuity is every year we are keeping some money to repay that property to what do I say, to be equal to that actual. Okay, so it is called annuity because it is being collected, being kept after a certain period of time. It can be annual most of the time, but it can be in 6 months or monthly also, but most of the time generally it will be annual. Then this term is important, years purchase. What is years purchase? It is defined as the okay, years purchase is defined as the capital that I have to or we have to keep in order to receive a net annual income as an annuity of rupees 1. Okay, that means how much money I will have to invest or keep in a bank or something like that to earn 1 rupee as an interest, right? So say for example, there is an interest of 4% per annum. So to get 4% in 1 year, I shall have to keep into the bank, right? So what will be the amount that I will have to keep in the bank to get rupees 1 as interest, as income? So that is my year's purchase. So the year's purchase is given by 100 divided by rate of interest. Why? Because for 4%, say for example, 4% I have to keep 100 rupees. For 1 For to get 4 rupees, I have to keep 100 rupees. To get 1, I have to keep 100 divided by 4 rupees, right? So that is year's purchase. Now we'll see where it is used. Okay, I'm sorry for this R. I just replace it with the rupee symbol. Okay, then comes sinking fund. Now, what is sinking fund? This is like annuity. We are keeping, special case of annuity, we are keeping certain amount of money every year. From the gross income that we have, we are keeping certain amount of money every year, so that at the end of the life of the structure, the money will accumulate and it will become the original cost. Okay, it will be the replacement of the building or structure at the end of its useful life. Okay, so we will have a money at the end of the life of the building, so that we can replace the structure or we can have the actual cost. Okay, because if we do not do that, at the end of the life of the building, what will happen? We do not have the money to buy another property which is of similar, or repair it to make it as better as it was earlier. We will lose the property. We will also lose the ways of income, because the property, because the building or the structure was generating some revenue by rent, by some services, etc. It was generating some revenue. So at the end of the life, if I have to lose the building, I'm losing the building and also the income. So I'm losing everything, right? So therefore, I am keeping the sinking fund, so that at the end of the life of the building, I have some money, so that with that money I can replace the original structure. So here I have a formula. We'll see it later when we do numerical. Then these are very important. These are always asked in competitive examination. What is salvage value? What is scrap value? Or the way around. They will give the definition, and then in the options there will be salvage value, scrap value, some other values like that. The salvage value, it is the value at the end of utility period without being dismantled. Okay, the life of the property is over. Now, what is the value left? That is salvage value. And what is scrap value? Scrap value is the value of dismantled material. The life of the property is over. Whatever the materials left, I'm dismantling the material and I'm selling it in the market. So how much money I will get? That is scrap value. Okay. So both are at the end of utility period, but the salvage value without being dismantled, and the scrap value is of dismantled material. Structure has become outdated or outfashioned, because of its style, because of its structural design, okay, because of the room arrangement, the massive walls, etc. Because of things like that, the structure cannot be used or is not desirable in present day situation. Then it will be called obsolescence, right? It is become obsolete. That's it. Now, depreciation, what is depreciation? The gradual decrease in the value of the property because it is becoming older day by day, year by year, right? So therefore, it is depreciation. Now, this is important. What is capitalized value? Now, capitalized value of a property is the amount of money whose annual interest, the highest prevailing rate of interest, will be equal to net income from the property. Now, let me simplify this. Suppose I am earning some income, okay, some income from my property. I'm earning something. Now, from that value, from that income, we want to know what is the capitalized value of the property. What is the actual value of the property at present day? So, say for example, I'm earning rupees 1,000 from the property. So, what it will be like how much money I have to keep in a bank or I have to deposit in certain fund, I will have that same income. So I'm equating the value of the building with that capitalized value. With that value, then I will income from that money kept in a certain bank or in a certain fund. Okay. So suppose I am earning rupees 1000 and the highest rate of prevailing interest in our locality, in our city, in our country is 5%. So for 5% interest, I will require a capital of 100 and 100 rupees 1000 interest. How much capital I will be required? Okay. So it is like that much money I have in a bank. Are you getting the point? So I'm earning rupees 1000 from my property. So because I'm earning rupees 1000 from my property, it is like I have this much rupees 20,000 in a bank, and that 20,000 in a bank also will also provide me with rupees 1000 as interest. This is how I'm linking the value of my building, value of my property with the money that I have to keep in a bank or in a certain fund. Okay. Now, as I do this sum for rupees 5, I require rupees 100. For rupees 1, I will require 100. And for rupees 1000 to get interest, I will require this much 100 by 5 into 1000. Now, I see that what is this 100 by 5? This is nothing else by the years purchase. Okay. This is nothing else but the years purchase. Years purchase was also rate of interest. Okay. So this is the money required for rupees 1 as income. So if I multiply years purchase with the income, I shall get the capitalized value. So whatever is my income, net income, if I multiply that with years purchase, I shall get the capitalized value. That is, I shall get the amount that I can keep or I have to keep in a bank, in a fund that will give me the exact same net income as my property is giving me. Okay, I don't know if it is clear or not. Please let me know if it is clear or not later. Then after this, we have certain methods of calculating depreciation. How we calculate depreciation, because the building, the structure, the property is depreciating all the time, right? So how I calculate the depreciation? So there are certain methods of depreciation. One is straight line method. Number one is straight line method. In straight line method, what we are doing? Original cost minus scrap value. That is our value at the end of the utility period of the spent divided by life of the building, life of the property. So we are getting a certain amount of depreciation every year, and what is happening every year, same amount of money is being depreciated. Okay, so if I find out the book value after n number of years, original cost minus the number of years and the depreciation in each year, so I will get the book value at certain number of years. Then there is another method. It is a constant percentage or declining balance method. Here we consider that the decrease will be same percentage every year. 5% or 6% depreciation will occur. In the earlier one, it was value, money. Every year, the value will decrease by 25,000 or 50,000, for example. But here, percentage. Okay, the money will be different, obviously, but percentage will be same. Then we have a sinking fund method. This method, depreciation of the property is assumed to be equal to the annual sinking plus the interest. Remember sinking fund? We are keeping sinking fund so that we have a money at the end of the utility period to replace the original structure. So that means we can say that the total sinking fund that will be accumulated at the end of the year, at the end of the life of the building, will be equal to the total depreciation, right? Because it is whatever will be the amount from the sinking fund plus the scrap value will give us the original cost, right? So therefore, in this method, we are saying that in every year, the depreciation is equal to the sinking fund and the rate of interest. So we are saying that A is the sinking fund in the first year, A is the depreciation because there is a sinking fund, no interest in the first year. So the book value C minus A. In the second year, we have A, the sinking fund, plus the rate of interest. So it becomes twice A plus B, total depreciation. So book value is original cost minus total depreciation this way. Then we have another method, it is called quantity survey method. In this method, we have to study in detail every aspects of our building. Okay, the loss due to wear and tear, decay, etc. Everything is studied in detail and found. The depreciation is found without any fixed percentage. Okay, it is not based on any fixed percentage. It will depend how well maintained the structure is. If there is any cracks, which will depend on the which will also depend on the original design criteria of the property, right? So if it is properly made, if it's properly designed, properly constructed, then it will have less depreciation. But in the earlier case, it was not like that. It is directly depreciated, not going into so much detail. So this is quantity survey method. We are surveying every quantity, every member, every aspect in our property. Okay. So okay, so then there is valuation of building, how we do the valuation of a building. So there are some methods of doing valuation. One is rental method. In rental method, what we do, the net income value of rent is found by deducting all outgoings from the gross rent. Okay, so we are finding net income. Then suitable rate of interest prevailing in the market is assumed. Years purchase is calculated. Now the net income multiplied by the capitalized years purchase, get the capitalized value. Just like we discussed for capitalized value, same thing we are doing here. We are finding the value of the property from the rental income that we have. From that income, we are multiplying it with years purchase, and that will give us the capitalized value. Okay, this is the value of the property. That means if I keep this much amount, it is equivalent to some money. If I keep that money in a bank, in a fund, it will give me exactly same net income as the property is giving me through the rents and etc. income. Then comes another method, direct comparison. In direct comparison, what we do not have proper idea about the rents. We compare the value with similar type of structure. In our locality, we see similar type of structures. Then from that similar type of structure, we will find out what's the rent of this property. Okay. Then valuation based on profit. Things like cinema halls and shopping malls. These are what they are generating profit from this structure, from these services, from the property, right? Apart from the rents, they are also having some profit. So now this net profit will be calculated, not only the rent. The net profit will be taken, multiplied by years purchase, and we will get the capitalized value. Now this can be very high comparison to the cost of construction. Then valuation based on cost. It is based on the cost that were incurred in constructing the building, and depreciation etc. will be calculated. Then development value of method of valuation. In this method, what happens? Uh, if the property is developed to a certain extent, what will be the value of the property? Okay, so it depends on we are considering an underdeveloped project, and we are saying that okay, if this project is developed, fully made, what will be the value? Okay, so futuristic. Then depreciation. In this depreciation method of valuation, again, this is a detailed method. We will go into all the parts, walls, roofs, floors, doors, and windows. We will work out how they have depreciated. Okay, are they in proper condition or not? So we will find out their depreciation individually, and we will find out total depreciation. Okay, so